All right, so you're getting ready for this land planner interview, and that's going to be pretty exciting.
It is. Yeah, it's a big step.
It really is. And, we've got all your RoleCatcher resources right here,
hmm
the career guide, the interview guide, and even some sample questions from their database.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's fantastic.
So let's take a deep dive into these materials and turn them into, like, your roadmap to interview success.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what we're here for, right?
Exactly. And think of this deep dive as your interview prep boot camp. We're going to like break down those tricky questions, sprinkle in some career insights from the guide, and we'll even show you how RoleCatcher's AI can give you that extra edge.
I love that AI stuff. It's
Yeah.
really a game changer.
It really is now.
So where should we start?
Well, let's start with a question that I feel like comes up in almost every interview.
Okay, sure.
Describe your experience with land use planning and zoning regulations.
Yeah, that seems basic, but it's really important.
It's like they're gauging your foundational knowledge with that one, right? It's not enough to just like rattle off zoning definitions or anything.
Right.
The career guide, I noticed, really emphasizes hands-on experience.
Definitely, they want to see how you've applied those regulations in real-world scenarios.
Like in the real world, not just the textbook.
Exactly. So think back to internships, volunteer work, even community projects, anything you've done.
Yeah, like anything you've done where you've actually had to like use these skills.
Right. Have you helped a local business navigate permitting or contributed to a neighborhood plan that addressed zoning challenges?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things they want to hear.
Yeah, because instead of just saying, I'm familiar with zoning regulations,
Which is kind of vague.
it is.
Yeah.
You can say something like, while I was working on the community garden project, I applied the city's zoning regulations to make sure the garden met setback requirements and like all the green space allocation guidelines.
Yeah, perfect. That's much more impactful.
So much better, right?
Way better. And be ready for follow-up questions, too.
Oh, gosh, yeah, those follow-ups.
They might ask about the challenges you faced applying those regulations or how you balanced community needs with those zoning restrictions.
Because sometimes those things are at odds.
Oh, for sure. It can get tricky.
Yeah, for sure. And those follow-up questions, it can feel like they're trying to see how you think on your feet,
They are. They want to see how you handle pressure.
Yeah. And speaking of handling pressure, the interview guide actually mentions using the STAR method for structuring your answers,
Oh, yeah. Good old STAR.
which is situation, task, action, result, right?
Set. It's a classic for a reason.
It's a great way to craft these compelling stories that highlight your problem-solving skills.
And keep you on track when you're nervous.
Yeah, for sure. Like, let's say they ask, tell me about a time you had to deal with a zoning conflict.
No, that's a good one.
It is using the STAR method. You could describe a situation where, like, a developer's proposal didn't comply with local zoning.
Right. Happens all the time.
And then your task was to find a solution,
Yeah.
obviously. And you took action by mediating between the developer and the community. And then, like, ultimately that resulted in a revised plan that met both zoning requirements and the community's needs.
Beautiful. That's a great example of turning a potentially negative situation into a showcase for your skills.
Yeah, and speaking of skills, RoleCatcher's AI can be a huge help here.
Oh, tell me about it. I love that AI.
I know their AI can analyze the job description and then compare it to your resume and highlight any skill gaps you might have.
So you can like tailor your answers to emphasize the skills they're specifically looking for.
Exactly. It's like magic. Okay, so now let's move on to another common question.
Okay, shoot.
Can you describe a complex land planning project you have worked on?
Ooh, this is your chance to really shine.
It is. They want to hear about a project that like truly challenged you, where you had to like utilize your expertise.
Show off your problem-solving abilities.
Exactly. And think about projects where you had a significant role. Maybe you even took the lead on certain aspects.
Yeah, if you can show leadership, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the career guide actually talks about different stages of a land planner's career.
It does. It's helpful.
It is. And if you're aiming for that intermediate level, you're going to want to highlight projects that demonstrate, a higher level of responsibility and independence.
Right, like you've moved beyond entry-level tasks.
Exactly. And you're ready for more.
So maybe you conducted independent site visits, collaborated with different stakeholders?
Oh, yeah. Multi-stakeholder collaboration. That's always a good one.
It is. Or maybe you even managed a budget. Those are all really great examples of the skills interviewers are looking for at that level.
Yeah, for sure. So for this question, you wouldn't just describe the project itself.
Right.
You'd really want to focus on your specific contributions, the challenges you overcame, and the positive outcomes you achieved.
Definitely they want to see your impact.
And it's always a good idea to quantify your impact. Like, did you improve traffic flow by a certain percentage or increase green space?
Oh, yeah. Numbers are always good.
Numbers are good.
They make it real.
They do those measurable results really make your story stand out.
And don't forget the human element. Let your excitement for the project shine through.
Yes, passion.
Passion, enthusiasm.
They want to see that you're not just going through the motions,
Right.
but that you genuinely care about the work that you do and the impact it has on communities.
Exactly. Okay, so we've tackled two big ones.
2 down.
Let's dive into another one that often trips people up.
Okay, bring it on.
How do you stay up to date on changes in land use planning regulations?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It might seem straightforward, but it's not just about saying, I read industry news.
No, the interview guide emphasizes that it's got to be more specific.
Exactly. You need to show them you're actively engaged in the field.
So, like mentioning professional organizations.
Yes, like the American Planning Association.
Oh, perfect.
Or specific publications that shows you're really in the loop.
And, attending local council meetings or following relevant legal cases.
Oh, yeah, that's good too.
That demonstrates a deeper level of commitment to staying current, right?
It does. It shows you're going beyond the basics.
And don't underestimate the value of online forums and communities.
That's a great point.
Engaging in discussions with other professionals can expose you to different perspectives and keep you at the forefront of, emerging trends.
Yeah, it's like having a continuous learning network right there at your fingertips.
It really is. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI feedback can be invaluable.
Speaking of awesome resources, right?
Did you know that they can analyze your practice answers
They can?
and provide personalized feedback based on the specific job role that you're applying for?
It's like having an insider telling you exactly what resonates with interviewers in that specific field.
It really is like having an insider. Now, imagine this follow-up question. Can you give an example of a recent change in land use regulations and how you incorporated it into your work?
Oh, that's a tough one, but a good one.
This is where you're really going to show them you're committed to staying informed.
Exactly. You could discuss a new sustainable development policy, a recent court ruling on zoning, even a lively debate on an urban planning forum that sparked a new idea for you.
Oh, I love that.
The key is to connect those updates to your own work.
So did you adapt a project design based on a new environmental regulation or propose a community engagement strategy based on, evolving public feedback?
Yeah, exactly. Those specific examples show that you're not just aware of the changes, but you're actively integrating them into your practice.
Which is really what they want to see, right?
It is, and that's what sets you apart as a forward-thinking and adaptable land planner.
Okay, so we've covered some key questions.
We have.
We've sprinkled in some valuable career insights.
Good.
We did, but there's so much more to unpack, so let's take a quick breather, and then we'll dive back in with more tips and strategies to help you ace that interview.
Sounds good. I'm ready for more.
Me too.
Okay, so, one question that I feel like kind of throws people off sometimes is,
Oh, yeah, which one?
what are some of the biggest challenges facing the field of land planning today?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, it's not like a knowledge question, really, right?
Not really. It's more about showing that you understand the bigger picture.
Yeah, like the context of land planning.
Exactly. They want to see that you're not just technically proficient,
Mhm.
but also engaged with the social and environmental issues that shape our communities.
Yeah, for sure. And the career guide actually touches on some of these things, like sustainable development,
Yeah.
the need to balance growth with environmental protection,
Right.
the complexities of urban sprawl versus revitalization.
All those big issues.
Yeah, they're all connected.
So think about things like climate change resilience,
Yeah.
affordable housing transportation infrastructure,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
how these things impact land use decisions.
And how they're all related, right?
Exactly. You could say something like, one major challenge is creating more walkable, bikeable communities while still accommodating the need for efficient transportation networks.
I like that. Yeah, because it shows that you're thinking about all these different systems.
Right. It's not just about zoning on a map.
No, it's bigger than that. And it kind of leads into, talking about your own interests, too.
That's a good point.
So if you're passionate about green infrastructure,
Yeah.
you can talk about how sustainable design can help mitigate climate change.
Right. Or if you're drawn to community development,
Mhm.
you could talk about innovative approaches to affordable housing.
Yeah, find that connection.
Find those connections.
It's all about connecting the dots between your skills and your passions and, like, the challenges facing the field.
I love that.
And, hey, if you've used RoleCatcher's AI to get some feedback on your portfolio,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great time to mention it.
Yeah, for sure. It shows you're proactive and committed to presenting your best work. you know?
You're a go-getter.
Exactly. Okay, so let's tackle another common question.
Okay, hit me.
How would you handle a situation where a developer's proposal conflicts with zoning regulations?
Oh, that's a juicy one.
Yeah, this is where your knowledge of regulations, A&D, your interpersonal skills come into play.
It's a combo.
It's not just about saying no.
Right.
It's about finding solutions.
You got to be diplomatic.
Exactly. You want to demonstrate that you can uphold those regulations while also maintaining a collaborative approach.
Yeah, you don't want to burn any bridges.
Right. So maybe start by saying, I would first explain the specific regulations to the developer, outlining why their proposal doesn't comply.
Okay, lay it out for them.
Right. And then you could talk about exploring alternative options that meet both the developer's needs and the zoning requirements.
Okay, finding that common ground.
Exactly. Finding that win-win solution through open communication and creative problem solving.
And remember, the STAR method can help you structure this answer too.
Oh, yeah. Good old STAR always comes back.
It always does so. Instead of just saying, I'd find a compromise.
Right, which is kind of vague.
It is, you're illustrating how you've done that successfully in the past.
Love it. Okay, now let's shift gears a bit to a question that often makes people nervous.
Oh, I know this one.
The dreaded weakness question. What is your biggest weakness?
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes that one.
Nobody likes it, but the key is honesty and framing it as an area for growth. You know?
Yeah, you can't say I have no weaknesses.
No, because then you just sound delusional.
Exactly. And remember, the career guide emphasizes continuous learning in this field.
It's always evolving.
So instead of saying, I'm terrible at public speaking,
Which is a common one.
it is. You could say, I've sometimes struggled with presenting complex plans to large audiences, so I've been taking a public speaking course and practicing my presentation skills.
Perfect. That shows self-awareness and a commitment to improvement.
And you're trying to be better.
Right. And speaking of improvement, interviewers often ask about your career aspirations, too.
Oh, yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Exactly. They want to know if you're just looking for a job or if you see yourself building a career in land planning.
You're in it for the long haul.
And the career guide actually lays out those different career stages, you know?
Oh, yeah. From junior all the way up to principal land planner.
With the responsibilities at each level, it's really helpful information.
Yeah, it is. So use that to your advantage when answering this question. If you're currently like an intermediate land planner, you might say, I'm excited about eventually moving into a senior role where I can lead larger projects and mentor junior staff.
Perfect. That shows ambition.
And leadership potential.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention specific areas of interest, too, you could add. I'm particularly drawn to sustainable development and see myself playing a key role in shaping more eco-friendly communities.
So you're showing them you've thought about your trajectory.
And that it aligns with the company's goals.
Okay, now here's a tip. Research the company you're interviewing with.
Oh, yeah. Always a good idea.
And RoleCatcher's platform has this database of employer profiles.
I love that feature.
I know. Use it. See what projects they've worked on, what their values are, and then you can tailor your answers to show that you're a good fit.
That extra level of preparation makes a big difference.
It really does. Okay. Now, as we move towards the closing, there's one more question that we should definitely address.
Okay, so let's talk about the questions that you can ask the interviewer.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It's not just a one-way street.
It's a conversation, remember?
It is. And the interview guide really stresses this. You know, having some good questions ready shows that you're engaged. You're not just like passively answering their questions.
Right, you're curious. You want to learn more.
Exactly. And avoid the generic stuff like, what's the work-life balance? You know?
Yeah. That's not going to impress anyone.
No. Tie it back to the discussion like earlier you mentioned their focus on green infrastructure. You could ask something like, I'm really interested in how the company is integrating sustainability into upcoming projects. Could you share more about that?
Perfect. That shows you've been listening and you're thinking critically about their work.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you analyze the company's profile, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It can give you insights so you can tailor your questions.
It's like having a secret weapon to impress them with your preparedness.
It really, okay, so once that Q&A is done, it's time for the closing.
A grand finale.
This is where you leave a lasting impression.
Make them remember you.
Exactly. And it's not just about saying thank you.
No.
It's about, like, sealing the deal.
Right. You want to reiterate what excites you about the company or their projects.
Yeah. And the career guide emphasizes this, you know, the importance of expressing enthusiasm for the role.
So you could say something like, I'm genuinely impressed by your commitment to community engagement. The mention a specific project really resonated with me.
I like that that's specific.
It shows you've done your research.
And you're not just sending out generic applications.
Exactly. And don't forget to highlight 1 or 2 key skills that make you the ideal candidate.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Tie it back to the conversation. Maybe you impress them with your knowledge of GIS software or your ability to navigate those complex regulations.
Yeah, those are good ones.
You could say, as we discussed my experience in mention, the skill would allow me to contribute to your team effectively.
It's like a subtle reminder of your strengths.
Exactly, and how they align with the company's needs.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today.
We have.
But let's wrap this up with one final thought.
Okay, I like it.
The career guide talks about building a professional portfolio, but what if you went a step further?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
What if you included a project showcasing your passion for something like sustainable development? Maybe like a hypothetical redevelopment plan for a blighted area focusing on green space and affordable housing.
That's brilliant. It shows initiative going beyond what's expected and demonstrating your commitment to making a positive impact.
Yeah, it's that kind of forward thinking that sets you apart.
It makes you memorable.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for you?
The big takeaway.
You've got the knowledge from these RoleCatcher resources, and now you've got the strategies to ace that interview.
Go.
Remember, interviewers are looking for passion preparedness and that spark of, I'm ready to make a difference.
You got this.
Go out there and shape the world, one land use plan at a time.
Good luck, and let us know how it goes.
We're rooting for you.